Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Happy Cells and Souls. And I'm Julie Powers. I'm a licensed Zumba instructor and a partner with the Juice Plus company. And my mission in life is to help people know that life is better when they're dancing through it. And I want to inspire healthy living around the world. But my expanded mission is to create better health at the cellular level and create more joy at the cellular level. I really want people to understand that we have one body, we have to take care of it because it's the only one that we have to live in, and that we have this inner being that we need to figure out how to be happy and joyful and spread light and love in the world. And that's what these videos are about on my channel. I have had a lot of remarkable people walk through my life and into my life over the years, and I believe that every single person has something to share and something that we can learn from, whether we share the same culture, political beliefs, religious beliefs. It doesn't matter if we come from different sides of the world. Everybody can learn from everyone else. But this particular conversation is a little bit different because the person that I'm talking with today is Karen Schifferdecker. And Karen and I have been friends since the 3rd grade, which was about 1,000 years ago. And it's hard to remember. Karen and I met in 3rd grade at a parochial school in Missouri. And I'm just wondering, if we can kind of walk through our friendship journey, because I want people to understand the value of friendships, and especially those people that have been isolated for some reason. Either they have a spouse that has passed and they don't have those friendship connections anymore, or maybe they're older and a lot of their friends have also passed and now they don't really have their group anymore. Just the value of finding those friendships of quality over quantity, because having good friends is so good for us, and life expectancy and quality of life and happiness just shoots up if you have good friends that you're spending your life with. So Karen and I don't live anywhere close to each other. We've not lived anywhere close to each other since she went to college and I went to college, but we still have a very strong friendship. So Karen, can you tell me what you remember about the 3rd grade when we met?
Yeah, not much. Well, what I remember is, so I was new. I had moved back to Farmington, but I had not been to Farmington since I was 2, I think. And so you can imagine it's a little scary, 3rd grade, and even though we had a small school, it was still new. And, I guess I remember, there's 3 other girls, and you were one of them in our class. And somehow, I was drawn to you more than the other 2 in a way that, I don't think it's mysterious, but there was some kind of connection there, right?
Right.
That I knew that you were the one that I wanted to hang out with more at that time.
Yeah, I remember that when you came to school, you were the new kid, of course, and I'd been at that school since kindergarten. But I felt like, ooh, it's my job to welcome this new person. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing about it that stood out to me was that you had a hearing problem.
Yeah.
And and you couldn't hear very well, and your speech was a little bit different. And I thought, ooh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
It really stood out. And so I felt like I needed to protect you in some way from anybody who might want to make fun of you, because
Yeah.
you had this, very, very minor different ability.
Yeah.
And so I do remember that. And I remember going to your house, and it was so different than my house because it was a smaller home without air conditioning. And
Right.
I remember,
My house was tiny compared to yours.
well, I mean, it was a smaller home, yes. But what I loved about it was that we got to build those wind tunnels with
Yeah.
the big box fans, And
And
that
the
was just,
sheets.
yeah, and you put sheets and chairs up and you made these wind tunnels because that's how we had to keep cool. But
Yeah,
it was so much fun.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it was kind of fun having everybody piled in kind of into different little pockets of the house. And I just always thought that was so much fun to do that. I don't know, but maybe I'm
yeah.
but I also know that that I broke my wrist at your house, and because
Mm,
your mom was a nurse, she knew what to do right away. So
yeah, yeah. That's always helpful. Yeah,
right,
I think, I mean, so the growing up during that time, I mean, and you know this, but your house was like my house, right?
right. You were at
Like
my
I
house
would,
all the time,
right,
all
right.
the
I'd
time.
walk in the door without knocking. We'd be there, we'd be in different places, we did things, we made up stuff, we baked cookies, I mean, we just did a lot of things together. So it was just
Right,
like part of, it was really a second home. Not that I didn't have my own home and loving parents and, good siblings, but it was just great to be able to expand that to a different home and a different family and just have that kind of connection that just wasn't just with you, but it was with your whole family, right? And your
right,
home.
right.
Yeah.
And we didn't spend as much time at your house because you came from a home with 4 girls, and there were generally extra friends at your house fairly often. So because it was smaller, there wasn't really anywhere for people to go. So that's
Yeah.
why we ended up at my house a lot, because we had 5 kids and we had a bigger home with just lots of space to do things. And so we always had people at our home. But you're right, you would just walk in and I think you probably spent the night at my house. I don't even know how many times.
Yeah, I have no
But
idea.
back in the day of the rotary dial phone with the long cords, and we'd be on the phone to each other, even if we weren't at my house, and
Yeah,
um, just go in the room, shut the door, talk on the phone.
yeah, yeah. I was just thinking about that the other day, listening to my kids talk over the computer, right? It's like, oh yeah,
Such a
that didn't
vastly
happen.
different world. But I think that having all of that, where I knew your family really, really well, you knew my family really, really well. It was like we were all connected, and we went to the same school, same church. Our parents were friends. All of that really set us up for a very strong lifetime friendship, even though we seemed to go kind of different directions a few different times in life. Um, you know, we graduated from high school, and you went to one college in a different state. I stayed at a college in state and studied completely different things.
Hmm.
And then you went off to Africa.
Yeah,
Now, let me tell you, whenever you told me that you were going to Tanzania, first of all, I thought, where the heck is Tanzania? I had to look it up on a world atlas, because we didn't have Google Earth, and I couldn't just plug it in, and then I had to figure out, oh my gosh, she's going really far away. And to me, I was like much more the homebody. Even though I didn't want to stay in my hometown, I didn't want to like branch out and get out there. And I thought, oh, that's so cool. She's so brave. So
yeah.
brave. Did you feel like you were, one small step for for Kara and one large step for Farmington Kind? You know what I mean? Like really stepping out and doing something that not a lot of people did back then.
Hmm. I mean, when I look back on it, I think, wow, that was kind of bold. That was, wow, I really did that. That took some nerve. But I think at the time, I I don't know. It was just something that was interesting to me, and I just thought it would. I mean, it would be an adventure. I mean, it was the first time I was ever on an airplane when I went there, right?
Oh wow,
So
yeah.
yeah, kind of crazy, right?
That's a big trip for your first time on an
Yeah,
airplane.
yeah. But I mean, I don't think I felt that I was doing it to be different, or that I was somehow more special because I did it. It was just, I don't know. It just like there was an opportunity and I did it. And then I think it was I think it was important to me that when I came back that I was able to share it in a way that people were interested. And I think you were always one of those people who was always interested. You weren't like, oh, I can't understand that, which I definitely had people do that. Um, but you were always open to, even though this is very different than what I'm doing at that particular time in your life. I mean, you traveled later,
Right.
but right, but that at that time you were still one of those people that really wanted to try to understand what it was that I did, even if it wasn't something at that point that you wanted to do or could do.
Right.
Right.
Well, I do remember when you got back, you were telling me, well, I think you may have even sent me a letter or something, but it talked about the electricity and only having electricity at certain times of day for a very short period of the day. And I
Yeah.
kept thinking, oh my gosh, I would never be able to live. I love air conditioning. I love warm showers.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
very used to the creature comforts, and I just thought, there's no way. She's
Yeah.
so brave. She's so adventurous. And I always thought that was, I don't know, I envied that. I had this little piece of me thinking, I wish I could be more like Karen. She's so open to these new adventures. And
Mm.
I'm not. I'm stuck here, in my own little day-to-day world. I mean, certainly enjoying life, but I always thought that was such a cool thing that you did. And then you went off to get your PhD um, in medical anthropology, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Schifferdecker. And so science, it's just not my thing. I mean, I love it. I love to learn stuff about it in a layman's way, but you start getting into the scientific data and all the analytics and the this, that, and the other, and the periodic table of the elements, and anything you throw at me like that, I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
Uh, but I love that your mind can hold all that and be able to translate it into real life experiences. Because what I find interesting is how, even though we don't do the same things, some of the stuff that we are involved with in a professional way overlap
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
And I always think that's interesting how people come back around full circle. And um, even people that you don't realize you're connected to, you all of a sudden go, oh my gosh, I'm totally connected to that person in this way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I love that it might be a year, 2 years, 3 years between our actual face-to-face visits, but we literally pick up where we left off.
Oh
And
yeah.
what are your thoughts about that? We were talking just a little bit before I turned on the record button, and we were talking about our family history and our core. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I think that again, because of that connection we had when we were younger was pretty intense sometimes, right? I mean, we both had some things happen during that period of time that, you know, some difficult things, right? Or some just the crazy, youth, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about, the little
There,
cliques that
there
happen
there
or,
were some times in school that were very challenging because there were
yeah,
some mean girls, and
right,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And we stuck together. And I think what's amazing is that now it's just like we know each other's core. We know where we came from. We know we had those, whatever those insecurities were, or those things that we did really well, and those accomplishments we had. And that gives us this kind of connection that it doesn't matter when we don't talk for a while, like you just said. It's just that we're right back at it, right? Like we know
right,
each other. We can pretty much say anything to each other. We can share challenges we're having with whatever, right? And but we get it, right? We
right.
know that we're coming from a place of loving and caring for other people, and that sometimes you just need to be able to say, "Ugh, I'm just," right? But it's okay because we know each other enough that we're not looking at each other going, oh my God, what's wrong with her? She's like, why can't she handle this or whatever. Why is she complaining about that? We get it. And we can understand that about each other and help each other. So
Right.
it's amazing.
I think that there are a lot of really strong friendships that happen for people that just meet in college.
Yeah.
Sometimes people meet in the workplace. Sometimes they meet, at all different stages of life. But I find that I really value this particular relationship so much because of that shared history. And if I start to talk about something that involves any number of my family members, because there's a lot of them, or you talk about somebody, any number of your family members, I know who you're talking about.
Right.
There's a history there as well. And so I think that even makes a little bit of a stronger connection, like you said. And I love being able to pick up where we left off. And I think too, one of the things about friendships, and I know that when I've done some talks, like on the radio show, we've talked about friendships and finding your tribe, your vibe attracts your tribe kind of thing. And that if you stay with positive people, you're going to have a more positive life experience. But, I can sit and be really not positive with you, and it's okay, because
Yep.
you know that at the end of it, I'm going to be positive again.
Right.
And just let me go on my little whatever. And also, there are things, like as we grow and we change and we transform over time, sometimes it's scary to share some of those things that you've learned along the way, or you find yourself different in certain places in your life than you thought you would be. And it's really good to have that one friend that has known you from day one, basically,
Right.
and seen the transformation, to say, look, here's where I am now,
Yeah.
and it's okay, whatever that happens to be.
Right. Yeah. And I think that you're, the things that you've done in your life and the kinds of choices and challenges that you've had. I mean, I'm just like one of your, I know I'm not the only one, and maybe I'm not the biggest one, but I think I might be one of the longest cheerleaders and just supporters and admirers of who you are and what you've done. And I always will be, because I just love you.
Aw, you're so sweet. I love you too, Karen.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I think
Yeah.
I think probably just to wrap up our conversation in the next couple of minutes here is, it doesn't matter if you have, whoever's watching this, if you have a lifelong friend, because my gosh, well, Karen's already 53. I'm not quite 53 yet. But if you can imagine that we've been friends since we were 8 years old, that's a pretty long time. But even if you don't have somebody that's been in your life that long, other than your family members, hopefully each person can find at least one person. And I'm very fortunate to have a handful of really close friends. But I mean, Karen, obviously you're the one who's known me the longest and the deepest in terms of so many different life experiences that we've shared. Um, from being there for my real marriage, being one of my my bridesmaids for my real marriage, because I had that practice marriage that didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
And when my daughter died, you got on a plane and you flew home to be here, and you were just here for whatever I needed. And I think that's always going to mean so much to me. And as we're recording this conversation, her birthday is tomorrow, and she would have been 21 tomorrow. So just to think about that, I mean, you've been there through a lot of that, and all the things that's happened in our lives. And I've gotten to watch all of your things along the way as well. And I've always been, again, like you said, a big cheerleader, but I've always been a big fan of yours. I think more than a cheerleader, because I never felt like you needed a cheerleader, because you were always
You're right about that.
always out there doing everything that I was so proud of you doing. And I just wanted to be like, yay, good job. So I want to thank you for being part of my channel and just spreading a little joy and light and love in the world. And you're very good at that. And do you have anything you want to say?
Just what you said before, that, keep those friendships close, and, just go through the stuff, and, just hold those people close in your life. That's for sure. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.